So now for the description of differing genders and sexualities becoming intertwined and the current need of society for self-validation. As said before, the notion of love exists twofold. In the lower self, it is interpreted through attraction, which is what defines one's sexuality, or which gender, or none or both, one is attracted to, while the gender one wishes to be known as is garnered through the higher self-understanding of oneself, regardless of the physical gender you are. This is why there are people who reason more with the female construct or male construct, while they could be encased within contrasting physical bodies. This contrast is also seen in your lower self-mind, so regardless of your physical body, you could be attracted to either absolute of male or female or none or both. This is what causes all multivariable associations people are finding themselves in the LGBTQ etc. community. But as convoluted as this need to be labeled a certain way is, the core polar absolute is that of the male and female, and confusion is only raised due to them being contrasted in higher and lower self configurations. The key here is not to disrespect any one configuration, but allow people to understand which one they identify as. But again, no one should impose to be called their label to another. Each should reach their own transcendent realization of their configuration and be allowed to, but without need of validation from the larger collective. This again shows the balance needed between the collective and the individual for respecting one another, but holding true to the underlying fundamentals of the yin and yang of the male and female realities. The only self-validation that matters is the individual of themselves. The reason this poses a challenge for people is again the relativistic construct of existence. This means that you are constructed by the collective as an individual, or more appropriately, your collective known to you. You see, the total collective of humanity is compartmentalized into each individual's own collective relative to their existence. So it is a multi-layered contrasting collective that envelops one another. Your immediate collective is your family and friends, so this has the most impact of the construction of yourself and self-validation. This then extends outwards to your profession and colleagues, and extends outwards to your society or belief system, which then extend outward to your country and further outwards to humanity as a whole. As it extends outwards, it has lesser and lesser of a direct impact to the construction of yourself, and due to this people cannot fully embrace the concept of everyone creating you. That is why practically one must apply the practice of mutual respect for all immediate people within your own unique collective. But one must realize that your self-validation initiates with you, because what you must remember is that you as an individual form part of the collective of all the individuals who make up your collective. Once you realize this, you will see that the self-validation you seek, you are also responsible for giving to the same people you seek it from. So the contrasting collectives are feeding back into one another. So you as the individual can only decide what you give to others regardless of what they give to you. And in doing so, realize that your self-validation begins and ends with yourself regardless of your collective constructing you. Because all collectives are constructed by the individuals within them and vice versa. But the power lies with you, the individual, in realizing this, because if you can step back and transcend your collective using empathy for the individuals who construct it, you can see in all instances why they may or may not be providing you with the self-validation you crave. Then you as an individual can affect the collective to correct for this, and thus the power lies with you and is not the responsibility of the collective you inhabit. And this extends outwards to all collectives until you reach humanity as a whole and beyond to any conscious being.